Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 262. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Mike?
Nothing. I dived into the world of video games this weekend, which is something you usually do. Made it down to PAX East, so talk a little bit about that. A little bit about how I almost think it's worth it to not go on Saturday now and just go like Thursday, Friday, or Sunday.
I can see that.
Yeah, because there's like never anybody there on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is like, I never understand the waiting 3 hours to play a game. I guess if you're there for 4 days, it makes sense.
I went like 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row. I forget. But I never waited in line to play games, at least like the big games, because there'd be like the big line for, so this will age me. Fortnite was there before it was Fortnite. This is back when it was that like tower defense.
Oh yeah.
Game before they're like, hey, let's put in a battle royale and make tons of money.
Yeah, make all the money.
And there was always hype around that, and I don't know, Doom would be there, whatever, and there'd be huge lines for that. I'm like, I don't want to wait to play those, but like I would find the dudes and dudettes making like small indie games that had nobody there. It's like, all right, let's see what you got.
And so this year, a lot of people don't know, PAX East is the Penny Arcade Expo. There's 5 of them, including Unplugged, I think, all over the world. Big gaming expo. Usually Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix, the big players are there. They weren't there this year, so it was really more indie focused. Like Devolver, if anybody knows them, they're a big publisher. They were there. The only issue with them is they're promoting this really cool looking game called, I don't even know the call. It's something Sacrifice of the Lamb or something like that, and it looked awesome. But like they had their whole booth was like stylized, like they made their PCs look like arcade like machines, which is cool. So you could go in and try a bunch of the different stuff. But the main one was this Lamb game, and I think they gave you like 30 minutes of play. So like they had to cap the line at like 10 people for the day, which didn't make sense because they had it on like one big screen. And it's like, if this is the game you're trying to promote, I guess maybe most people didn't realize like everybody would be there for indie games. That was pretty cool though, because I got to play a lot more than I have before, because it's, that's what you're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people in line. I'm like, if the showroom floor closes at 6 and they're saying this 3 hours from this point, I was like doing the math in my head. I'm like, you people at the end of the line aren't going to get to play before the showroom closes. I was like, I don't know if they realize that, but yeah, you got to be prepared to sit in lines. I had a good time though. A lot of cool games I checked out.
Yeah, there was a point where I would just no longer wait. But my favorite part every year, and I'm sure they weren't there because of, you said no big publishers and everything, but my favorite every year was going to the Gearbox.
They were there.
Gearbox
Gearbox was like the biggest one there. Yes.
So Gearbox would do a panel, and I don't know if we still hate Randy Pitchford or not. It's hard to keep track of who everyone on the internet hates, but Randy would do a whole show and everything, and like I don't know if you noticed about him, but he's like a magic enthusiast.
Oh, okay.
So he would do like a whole magic act, and then they would show off the game, and like 2 out of the 3 years, I got like a free game.
Oh, that's cool.
They would like put it underneath the seats and be like, all right, guys, you all get like 1 year it was Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I know everybody, but
wow.
At least I got it for free.
Yeah. At least you didn't have to pay for it.
Like that was my favorite every year. And then the 1 year that you were there with me, well, not with me, but we were there at the same time. Yeah. And we went to, it was a Acquisitions Incorporated,
yeah,
which is my first intro into that.
It's not the same team anymore. Over the last few years, they've lost a lot of people. That's live D&D for anybody that doesn't watch them. It's pretty funny. Didn't go to that this year. I played a lot of games. Thunderbird publishers had a lot of cool games. They had one basically that was like Dark Souls that I loved, but you're basically a stick figure, and like you take off your helmet and stuff, and you just have like a pixel stick figure head. It was pretty funny.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. really disappointed there wasn't any like Elden Ring, Dark Souls merchandise. There wasn't anybody like playing Elden Ring. There wasn't anybody selling that type of stuff, which is kind of disappointing. But you buy some dice, buy some RPG stuff. Oh, Limited Run Games was there, so picked up a couple Switch games. For anybody who doesn't know, they take indie games and they do small runs. You pre-order it. It's almost like Kickstarter. You pre-order the physical copy of some indie games. So I picked up Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Doom 64 for Switch. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, I love Doom 64.
Yeah, so I'm going to play through that again for sure. So I did find an amazing... So my buddy lives in Somerville, Massachusetts, Boston, outside of Boston. And I went to this amazing comic book shop called Quasi. Get it? And so this place was like, they had a bunch of trades, they had a bunch of action figures, like a whole... Like, every square foot of this shop was, like, filled with stuff, and then the back, everybody was playing Magic. It was, like, a really cool setup shop, but they had all the new books out front and stuff. And then they had, like, this glass case of, like, the expensive comics. And they were all, like, Golden Age stuff, like $2,000, $3,000. There's this amazing cover with, like, Alan Scott on the front for, like, $400. And I was like, oh, man. So if anybody's in Boston area, Quasi is one of the best shops I've been into. And they have a huge section of pre-owned trades. I've never really seen that before. Like, such a big selection of pre-owned trades, like trade paperbacks. So that was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I've only seen that with like old, like the one I showed you last week. It's like older trades. Right. They're hard to find. I've never seen like somebody's.
I guess they must get such a high volume. Yeah, right. Like the Flash New 52 or something.
Yeah.
They must get such a high volume through there that it just like people. It's almost like a library thing. And then I was talking to the guy working there because he started working there fairly recently. I didn't mention the podcast at all. Usually, like it. Sometimes it'll come up. I wasn't there to really promote anything, but he told me to check out a podcast called Chronic and Comics or something like that. So you can only imagine what it's about. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds right up my alley. So maybe I will check that one out. I've never heard of it before. Overall, good experience. Went to comic shop, went to PAX East for a day. My legs are sore. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't have that, the con muscles built up.
No, I don't. It was a long day of walking, but overall, good experience. It's good to see indie publishers. There was a publisher I talked to. He was there from Poland, and I guess it was something like his buddy had done the motion capture for The Witcher 3, so that inspired him to like make his own game. And this game, it was called like Deathbed, or I'll have to send it to you because it was pretty much like his take on Doom Eternal.
Okay.
And it was awesome. You casted spells, and if you like went to cast your fireball, it was first person shooter. You casted it, you put up the devil horns because he loves metal. So like you're running around with like devil horns up and like casting spells. So I looked over at him because my buddy was playing, and I was like, "What's up with the devil horns?" He's like, "Oh, I love metal," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, dude!" It was a pretty fun conversation we had with him. And then he told me like his twist on it though was like it's kill demons and all this shit, but like the demons go back in time. So like the first part of the game takes place like they possess Captain Nero, so they go to like Rome, ancient Rome, and then the next part of it they go to like the demons take over Dr. Jekyll. So like you like go through different timelines. So and like the demons possess like people throughout time, and so you have to like get transported through time. But same style, Doom Eternal, rip and tear, killing demons, metals blasting. But it was a lot of fun.
That's cool. That sounds like a cool premise for a game too.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of. Did you ever play Hexon back in the day?
No, but that's what he said it was. That's what he said it was based off of, was Hexon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's
I didn't
what
know what Hexon was. Yeah, so Hexon was made from the Doom platform, right?
So it was made off of the Doom engine, I believe. So like it looks a lot like Doom. It came out like around Doom 64 era, because I had it for Nintendo 64. I think it was also on
Okay.
PlayStation, but it was Ravensoft.
Oh, okay.
The people doing fucking Call of Duty shit nowadays.
That's so funny. Wow. Maybe they'll bring it back one day. Yeah, but that he brought that up, and I was like, no, I've never heard of that. So you would have known exactly what he was talking about. But yeah, video game stuff. I did go see a movie last week. I went and saw the new Harry Potter flick, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them: The Secrets of Dumbledore. I think that's the whole title.
What's Dumbledore's secret?
So right out, so this movie was good. Okay, they didn't pull any punches with the whole Grindelwald, and I don't know if you know anything about this universe, but like Grindelwald and Dumbledore had a relationship.
Okay,
like he loved him, and that's why like the whole weight of the movie is like he can't fight this guy because they at once loved each other, and like they made a blood pact, so like they couldn't hurt each other. So that's part of the film. I think overall it was great. Now when I see Ezra Miller on a screen, it's just like, oh man, this guy's gone off the deep end. You almost could see it throughout these movies too. That he just like slowly becomes more and more emo and crazy. But
the Harry Potter effect.
yeah, exactly. But overall, it was good. It was better than the second one. Maybe even better than the first one. But if you like the Harry Potter lore, I think it was good. And this is the movie where Mads Mikkelsen gets to play the villain, and love that guy. So he stole the show.
He took over the Johnny Depp role, right?
Yeah. So the whole thing, if nobody knows, like Grindelwald was a bad wizard. He disguises his face from the first. So the first movie is Colin Farrell reveals himself at the end of the movie to be Johnny Depp. So Johnny Depp's in the second one, and then the third one he's in hiding again. So they've just like don't even talk about it. But now it's Mads Mikkelsen playing it, and I think honestly he was the best version, because Johnny Depp he's good, but he's Johnny Depp. He's just kind of, it's hard to like. He's just like over the top sometimes. But Mads is just like menacing. I don't know.
Yeah. Johnny Depp plays versions of Johnny Depp. Like he's a great actor, but like he plays versions of even like Pirates. He's like just a drunk overdosing version of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp on a Tuesday.
I had a fun week.
Yeah, that's for sure. Overall, I think it was a fun movie. So check it out if you're on the fence about going to see it.
I still need to watch the first one, so
yeah. The first two, the second one's rough, man. The second one's all over the place. The first one is pretty good. The problem was they made a movie about Fantastic Beasts and then tried to like cram a prequel for Dumbledore in there, which they really should have just separated the whole thing out. Made like 7 movies and a boatload of money. They could have done it.
Need a franchise, man. Need a franchise.
Merchandising. Okay, so
before we get into the news, I gotta tell you my story because it affects the show.
Oh, okay.
A little bit
with this story. Oh boy.
So you'll notice later on that I didn't read a whole lot of comics, and here's why.
Oh boy.
I found out in the middle of the week, thankfully because it got stopped, that somebody got my credit card.
Oh.
My debit card actually, but and my bank stopped it. So I didn't lose any money, thank God.
Okay, that's awesome.
But it created this whole chain of events where I had to like destroy my card, and they're sending me a new one and all this shit. So, I look like a rich asshole because I'm like carrying around, let's just say money. I like pull out a stack of money whenever I have to buy something now instead of like just giving my card.
You're one of those guys who got a rubber band around your cash.
Exactly. And but I can't do anything digital right now, so I couldn't get any of my Comixology books this week. Yeah, it sucked. But I was able to go get my hard books, so I got a few of those to talk about. But yeah, and I don't know if I'll have it in time for next week either. They told me it could take up 2 weeks.
Damn. Yeah, I had that happen once. I got flagged, like someone was buying, and yeah, they picked it up. I didn't pick it up, so good on the banks for noticing that shit.
Yeah, shout out to Bank Security for not losing me $300. It was awesome.
Yeah. The only problem with that is you got to remember what your card is linked to as far as subscription services and shit. That was the hardest part for me, dude.
So it's funny because in the same time, I was thinking about, I got to change some of my subscription services over, for personal reasons. So I could tell you off air if you want, but
yep.
And then I wanted to cancel some too because I got way too many. So now I'm just kind of like, well, I have to go through and change everything now. So it kind of works itself out because I'm going to have to go through them one by one anyways.
Right.
So
yeah.
Like I'm currently paying for Disney and Hulu. And I was looking at it like last month. I was like, I could buy that package and then get ESPN.
Right.
And it's cheaper than paying for Disney and Hulu separately.
Yeah. So why not?
So I could do that and financial bullshit.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. It doesn't help that Netflix is getting raised higher, and then they said they're going to add ads, and then they're going to crack down on people sharing it in multiple households. It's like, come on, really?
So I don't know if you saw. I follow this account that there's a few of these out there, but they take old tweets and then new tweets and put them together to show how people are hypocrites or whatever.
Oh boy.
But this one does it for for companies, and one of them was Netflix I don't know 5-6 years ago, and it's sharing your password is one form of love or something weird like that, and then it's this week it's we need to crack down on people sharing their passwords.
It's this is how I go to another streaming service. Honestly, HBO Max, even Paramount Plus hasn't been bad. I even watched some shows on Apple TV. I don't have Apple TV, but that show, that Coach show on there is pretty good.
I'm waiting to see, because Apple TV, I was reading Apple TV is got the bid for Sunday Ticket. So if it's just a part of Apple TV, then I guess Apple has my money for the first time.
Yeah, right.
So I might get Apple TV down the line just for that.
I know we're not talking about comics anymore, but I bought MLB TV because I'm a Red Sox fan. But I've been pleasantly surprised this year about how many games that haven't been blacked out, because that was always a huge problem with that streaming service. But I pretty much have been able to see every game the last 2 weeks, so been pretty happy about that.
By the way, everybody, no interview this week.
No interview, by the way. We're just shooting the shit. We had a backup. We're backed up into a couple months, I think. But when someone of this stature and caliber, reaches out to us and tells us they can't make it, it's all good. No hard feelings. Honestly, Derek talked to us so much the last time, we probably should have recorded that and could have used it for 3 interviews.
Yeah, he was cool about it, and he wants to reschedule, so we'll get him on. We'll get him on.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
He had stuff going on, and that's where I'll leave it at.
Yep. Nobody knows about that, right? Stuff going on, shit going on. Okay,
yeah, right.
So I am going to not forget it this week to do it at the front of the show. I got my phone open here. This is some flash facts. I don't know if you want to settle in here. So actually, they score some points in my book. You'll see when you'll know where they score some points. I'll let you guess where you think.
Okay.
They scored points. Okay.
When you're done, I have a fun flash story to tell you.
Okay. So this is season 8, episode 11. I can't believe it's fucking season 8. I can't. It still boggles my mind. So if everybody remembers from the last flash facts, there's a black flame villain. He reveals itself to be Ronnie Raymond, and reveals itself to Caitlin to ask her to help save him. So Barry and Cecile are skeptical. Cecile uses her powers and thinks that Ronnie's asking the team to help kill him, but Caitlin and Frost want to save him. Barry tries to capture the flame again, but Caitlin and Frost stop him, because Caitlin and Killer Frost are 2 separate people now. They use a quantum splicer on the flame. This was the device that helped Ronnie turn into Firestorm back in like the early seasons. Those episodes are actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Ronnie's turned back into a human. Back at Star Labs, Ronnie awakes and reveals himself to truly be Deathstorm.
Dun dun dun.
So Deathstorm, if anybody doesn't know, Firestorm has Deathstorm that was part of the Blackest Night. So from Pat's flashbacks, he seems that they're setting up a CW Flash version of Blackest Night. That's what he thinks. I mean, yeah, you got Deathstorm. That's the start. That's a character right there. I don't see why you wouldn't. Also, though, I don't know. Just end the show. End the show. Reboot it. I don't know. Do something.
We hired this guy, and whenever I see somebody with like comic stuff on, I try to like sneak in there and be like, "So do you read comics?"
Hey, comics. Hey, yeah. I know what you mean.
You know, he'd been there for like a week or so, and he'd been coming in with like Venom stuff on, and then I caught a glimpse of his arm, and he had a Flash tattoo, and it was like, you know, that the style tattoo where it's like your skin's ripping open, there's something underneath it. It was but it was like the Flash symbol.
Badass.
So I was like, oh man, I was like, man, do you read comics and stuff? Like, you know, weekly. He's like, no, I don't read. I just really like that TV show. I was like, oh, cool, okay. And so we're talking about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, I fell off of it. And he's just like, yeah, it got bad. It got really bad. And I'm just like, if somebody who got a tattoo based on that show is telling me it's bad, then come on.
Come on. If he's going to stand there and just admit defeat to you, CW, you can admit defeat, because I guarantee the writers of the show don't have the Flash tattooed on them anywhere. No. They haven't gone that far.
It was so funny because I was thinking of you the whole time we were talking too. Because I'm like, oh man,
you'd be like, you should have been like, dude, you should read the comics because you'd be way more impressed.
Yeah.
Wow, what a tragedy. Oh man, the Flash really did him dirty. I bet it was like, you know, what episode do you think he got the tattoo? Was it like the Justice League episode? They all sit down at the Hall of Heroes. He's like, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm going to get a tattoo.
I think he said it was before that, because he even states that as like kind of the tipping point where it like started to fade for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was like, I enjoyed it for a while, but like once they did, as I dropped off, and then I would just come back for the events.
As
all the listeners know this. Yeah. And when Crisis happened, I'm like, all right, CW versus over. That's the end. That's the perfect ending. I'm not going any farther. And he goes, yeah, that's pretty much where I dropped off too.
Wow. I don't know. Maybe like the reverse. I'll have to go back and watch. I wouldn't mind watching like the first couple seasons because those are pretty solid. But other than that, I don't know.
It'd be an interesting experiment. See how we feel about those first like 4 seasons. You know, the ones we really enjoyed.
That's not to be said though. Still fucking love Grant Gustin. Like, give this guy a movie deal. I don't like. He is not the Flash problem. The Flash problems are not Grant Gustin's problems. Like, that dude can play the Flash.
The Flash problems is a CW. Like, it's a CW problem. Because even like, because they had to fill those 22 episodes or whatever, and I remember even back then when we were enjoying them, being like, all right, you know, that's the Gohan goes to the island with the little kids episode. Like,
right?
Do we really need this filler?
Right, you don't need that filler. Netflix had a bad week on top of all the shit they were saying. They're no longer moving forward with the adaptation of Jeff Smith's Bones. So not only are they doing all those bad things to their users, they're also saying, well, content that you might actually want, fuck you. So Bones is not happening.
Yeah. And I heard somebody else say this, how I feel about Netflix now. And this person was telling me, like, I no longer want to get involved in a Netflix show because they're going to just pull the rug from under me before the show ends.
It's like old school Fox.
Yeah, because, like, every time I jump on these websites to check it out, it's like this show got canceled, that show got canceled, this show got canceled. It's like, and now they're not even making this thing that people have been looking forward to anymore. So I was never a Bones fan though, so it doesn't affect me that much.
Yeah, it doesn't. But either way, I mean, come on. We'll see if they come out swinging with some big shows, but they can't even get a season of Stranger Things out, so we'll see. Moon Knight episode 4. I'm about halfway through it. I read some comics this week, but I haven't finished that episode. Like I said, not for me. This show, to me, it feels like a low budget National Treasure movie. That's kind of where I got to the part where they're like looking at the Anubis symbol, the eye of Horus or whatever, and like tracing out some shit, and I was like, I just wish Nicolas Cage was explaining this to me. That being said, I know a lot of people love the show. I'm not shitting on the show, so just what did you think of episode 4?
First, I thought of you this entire episode because I don't think he turns into Moon Knight once.
Yeah, that's like, if it takes 20 to 25 minutes for him to put a costume on, I zone out. Like, I'm here for punchy costume stuff, like, but I don't know.
That said, I really enjoyed it. It was so we got a look. His Mark's wife gets her like real badass moment where she throws like a flare in an ammo crate and kills a bunch of guys. There's some cool moments where they're doing all the like you said, the National Treasure shit. The big shock here is the ending. So Mark, whoever, I think he was Mark at the time, he gets shot and killed inside of the pyramid at the end and falls down and then wakes up in a mental asylum. And it flips the show on its head because all the characters we knew are inside this mental asylum with him. So like his wife is there, and he's got like a little action figure of Moon Knight that he made, and the bad guy is like the therapist. Now I think this is, I don't know exactly what this is, but it's definitely he's not dead. There's 2 episodes left of a show called Moon Knight, but I think this is a form of like purgatory for him.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is, I believe it's Mark goes to the lead therapist, and it's the bad, I can't remember the dude's name, but the lead bad guy in the show, and they have a whole interaction. He runs away. He ends up going to a room and finding Steven. So there's 2 Oscar Isaacs standing next to each other, which was a little weird. And they have a whole interaction, and they're like so happy to see each other. And then they run out, and they're trying to escape this asylum. They find another room with something inside of a tomb, which I'm assuming is Mark's third personality, because they've hinted at it twice now, and this was like a big hint towards it as well.
Yeah.
And then they get to the end of the huge spoilers, everybody, but they get to the end of the hall, and they run into one of the other Egyptian gods that I'm not familiar with, but it's a giant hippo.
Okay.
So everybody's making like Madagascar references off of it. I think that's the god that was controlling the woman that they were talking to like 2 episodes ago. That's my prediction for it.
Okay.
But it's really great. I'm really enjoying it. It's just getting everything right, and it's treating all the disability, the mental disability of it all properly and well. So I'm really liking the show. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting that they go to the asylum. Again, I dropped out of the episode where the good shit happens. Right at the mark where it changes over.
I did legitimately think of you. I didn't want to text you because it's like the day it came out, and I'm like, there's no way he watched it.
Yeah.
But I did think of you because I just sat there. I was like, they didn't turn to Moon Knight once, and Mike is pissed right now.
I'm pissed. I'm not pissed. I know everybody enjoys it. So, like, there's so much comic book stuff out there that, everybody has their own. I mean, some people just love Egyptian stuff so much that, it's like, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Oh, it's like kaiju shit for me, right? Like, as every giant monster. I mean, people hate Godzilla movies. I can sit there and watch them all, So it's everybody's got their own stuff. So
I'll be interested to see how this tunes into the greater Marvel universe as well. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm curious too. If like his split personality has something to do with multiverse or something, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to tie. I mean, how they're going to tie it in with everything. It'll be interesting to see because there's events that happened throughout the series so far that like they showed that everybody can see what's happening. So it's not like it's Daredevil in his little corner of Hell's Kitchen. So what he's doing is affecting other people. So
right,
yeah.
We got a pretty awesome trailer this week.
Yeah.
The Thor Love and Thunder trailer, dude. This is the fourth Thor movie?
Yep.
So that being said, are we ever going to lose him as Thor? You think? I mean, is he just in it for the long haul? Like he's going to be playing King Thor 10 years from now?
Oh God, that'd be awesome.
I mean, why not? Why would you not keep playing Thor?
I think I remember hearing. I think I remember hearing that he was ready to be done with Thor until is it Taikiti?
Yeah.
Kawada?
Yeah.
So whatever. Yeah, until he jumped on, and it kind of like because it's such a. If you saw those first two Thor movies, they're not good.
No, they're not.
And the third one really flipped it on its head, and like that's such a better. It's not even like a really great Thor movie; it's just a better movie,
right?
And so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll get bored of this version and say I'm done after a little while. But as long as he wants to stick around, and especially if Taikiti stays around, like that dude obviously has a plan. It seems like James Gunn to Guardians. Like I don't want to see anybody else do Thor than Taikiti.
Right. And if anybody knows, that's the villain from Free Guy.
Oh, is he the villain Free Guy?
Yeah, that's Taikiti. The dude who's like the tech guru guy. Yeah,
I never watched Free Guy, so.
Oh, you know what? Okay, either way, that's him. So yeah, I think so. Natalie Portman, but what's the name? Lady Thor, right? Is that the character's name?
The Mighty Thor.
The Mighty Thor. Sorry. Okay. Because I saw that whole argument on the internet. People were like, it's not Lady Thor. It's just Thor. It's just Mighty Thor. I don't know what's true. All I know is what they call it in the comic is what I'm going to call it on the movie because that's where they're pulling it from.
So when they switched over to Jane Foster Thor, well, before we knew it was Jane Foster, but still.
Yeah.
When they switched over to Jane Foster Thor, she was referred to, the title of the book was The Mighty Thor. She was referred to as Thor.
Okay.
I always refer to her as the Mighty Thor just to separate her from
other Thor.
From Thor.
Original Thor. From Thor.
Yeah.
Mighty Thor and Thor. Okay. That makes more sense. I think Natalie Portman looks awesome with that helmet on. She's definitely bulked up a little bit for the role. And I like what Thor's saying in the trailer of like, what's my place in the universe? I'm just gonna find some love, and he's just like doing CrossFit on some old Titan. It was sick. I like that he kind of parts ways with Guardians of the Galaxy, but we get to see that whole interaction happening. He's not just like on his own yet, so you can tell that like him and Star-Lord, there isn't a spot for two like jocks,
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting to see where they go because that'll probably tie into their movie, right? So,
yeah, I dig Trucker Thor.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yep.
So I don't know if you saw this, but there's scenes that are just picked right out of the comics in this. Like when he's standing at the edge of the mountain and that giant whatever it is, dragon or something.
Yeah.
Like that's a scene from Jason Aaron's run. And then when Jane has the hammer, like that's straight out. This is all straight out of Jason Aaron's run. But there's so many great moments, and I like how it looks like how they adjusted it instead of like Thor's no longer worthy, because they kind of did away with that whole he needs the hammer thing.
Right.
It's just him being like, listen, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Want to go like be a trucker and like bang space ladies and have a good time.
Right, exactly. Like, I might be worthy, but I'm tired, bro.
Natalie Portman looks phenomenal. The music was great. Some Guns N' Roses, always a good time.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for this. The only thing that was disappointed by was we didn't get to see Christian Bale Gore.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, he plays the big villain.
They're gonna be hiding that for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be like the last trailer.
Yeah,
when they're ready to go, especially with Doctor Strange like a week away, 2 weeks away.
Oh, I wonder if maybe they've kind of like buried the lead with the villain, because maybe he comes out of the multiverse of madness. You know?
Maybe. Yeah.
Like, Doctor Strange, you messed up a ton of shit, and now we have all these new villains.
That'd be cool. Instead of everything being Tony Stark's fault, now it's Doctor Strange's fault.
Yeah, now it's Doctor Strange's fault. Yep. There you go.
I'm so down for this movie. So down.
Yeah, it looks sick. There's a little bit of comic news. Then I can talk about some of the stuff I read this week. Marvel announced last month that it was relaunching Daredevil with a new #1 with Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto. This month, they announced issue 2 is issue 650, and then it'll be an oversized issue full of content from a who's who of Daredevil creators. Also, they didn't announce who was on that list. We can assume that it means we'll get a new Frank Miller story. Other names we'd like to see join the roster we aren't holding our breath because we're not sure yet. Mark Waid, Ed Brubaker, Brian Michael Bendis, Kevin Smith, that have written Daredevil in the past. Dude, this can't become any more of a meme of like, oh shit, new #1. Okay, here's the #2, but it's actually 650, and now it's a big anthology thing, and we're bringing everybody back, so you'll buy this one and you'll buy the first one. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, because I was just doing a video on Thor 24, which is Thor 750.
Okay,
I forget, but once again, like huge list of creators, oversized issue, give us more money.
That's pretty much it's a cash grab.
It's a cash grab, but if I get a new Frank Miller Daredevil, it was worth it. I do. So Ed Brubaker is never going to happen. I put that on that list because I'm like, God, I love Ed Brubaker's Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Waid, I don't know, because I don't know if he's agnostic right now between the two, or if he's like, because he tends to go back and forth and stick with one.
Yeah.
But his run was just so fucking good. And then the one I have faith for is I think Kevin Smith will come back for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's still buddies with everybody there.
Yep.
Because if anyone doesn't know, like the people in charge of Marvel right now were the people in charge of Marvel Knights back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin was like the launch for Daredevil Marvel Knights. So a lot of them like credit their success for that book and like what Kevin did. So it would not shock me if he came back.
That'd be sick. Yeah, he's been a little more into the comic book. He seems to be like getting out of movies and back into comic books again this year between the imprint announcement and stuff like that. So
yeah, although he is doing like Clerks 3 is apparently done, so
Mallrats 2.
Hopefully we'll get that. Yeah, I think Mallrats 2 is next in line, so
never got Moose Jaws.
Yeah, still haven't got Moose Jaws.
Never got Moose Jaws. I think
got
that's
fucking yoga hosers though.
Yeah, yoga hosers. Okay, DC and Marvel, this is pretty cool, separately have announced that they're including ads in their June issue celebrating George Perez's birthday. DC will have a 2-page spread celebrating the best of Perez's DC contributions, drawn by a collection of DC artists. And Marvel's will be an ad with the Avengers holding up a glass titled "Once an Avenger, Always an Avenger." So that's pretty awesome.
And, I gotta hand it to DC too. That page It's like a 2-page spread. It's so good.
It is really good. It's the art alone what is going to get me to buy a physical issue in the month of June, because you got some amazing characters. I mean, you got some new gods. You have the Anti-Monitor, you have Darkseid, you got the Justice League, you have the Teen Titans. You have pretty much everybody. Oh, I see the JSA in the background.
Even Vigilante's in there.
Yeah, he is. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, and there's some people on the top right that I can't really tell. It looks like Cheetah. I have to keep expanding.
I think it's the Amazonians. And then Cheetah. Because it's that's
Ares.
Yeah,
Ares. Yeah.
So maybe it's the Greek gods and Cheetah.
There's 3 Supermen. Well, I guess the first one on the left, Superboy. There's a Superman in the top right in the Justice League. And then there's a Superman that's part of the JSA.
So yeah, I think the one in the middle is Earth 2 Superman.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That they acknowledge that. Yeah, it's an amazing spread. And then also you have George Perez there, sitting in front with his classic Hawaiian shirt on, sitting in front of the board. So yeah.
And while I like the Marvel one, it's Perez's Avengers, it's simple and just kind of really sweet. DC just blew it out of the park with theirs. Yeah. It's so much better.
The Marvel one's kind of depressing. It's also funny that you have the alcoholics holding water bottles for the toast. You have Tony Stark holding a water bottle. You have not Dinah. Who the hell is that? Black Cat?
Mockingbird.
So I'm guessing she was an alcoholic too. Yeah, you see
now
Tony.
Now that you say that, you ruined it for me, because now it feels like what you would put out after his death.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all their eyes are down, and they all look really depressed. They look really sad. So, I think the DC one is more of a celebration. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I think it's cool that they're at least acknowledging all the work that he built in both of these universes.
Yeah, and better late than never. But at least he'll live. At least he's alive to see it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Okay. Before I get into what I read this week, I got some purchases I want to show off. I really hate Bad Idea for making me do this, but I had to get my Odin's Eye run through eBay. So I didn't end up paying too much for these issues. So I do have 1 through 4 that I'm going to end up reading. That was not Odin's Eye, but I do have 1 through 4 here. Picked up a physical copy of MK Ultra, reading through that. Amazing stuff, amazing art. I'm almost done with that. Awesome stuff. Just wanted to show that off. Also, that comic shop I went into in Boston this weekend had MK Ultra right on the front shelf, so that was pretty cool to see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was telling everybody to go fucking buy it and read it. And then I have my comics this week. So, Batman 89. This is Ham and Queen owns on the art. This is Batman 89 number 5. I think the final issue is 6. Two-Face is terrorizing the city. He captures Gordon. He shoots him. Don't know if he's dead. We'll see. And it's the final battle for Gotham next issue between Batman and Two-Face. I do like that we're getting a Two-Face story set in the 89 universe. Really highly recommend this if you're a Batman 89 fan. Batman Superman World's Finest number 2. This is Mark Waid, Dan Mora. You read this or no?
No, because I was getting it digitally.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry. So I won't ask you if you read these. Do you care if I spoil it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Superman recovers magically.
Shocking.
If anybody remembers, we brought Superman to the Doom Patrol house. A little bit of a twist. We find out this villain is an ancient Chinese warlord called the Devil Niza, which was awesome. I love that shit. I love ancient Chinese warlords in my comics. So, they send Supergirl and Robin back in time to see how this group in ancient China imprisoned him. There was like this group of heroes, kind of like the Justice League, that imprisoned him. So they're going back to research it. While they're going back, though, Supergirl and Robin have this back and forth of like they used to be dating and now they like despise each other, which is kind of cool to see. So they go back in time, they get greeted by the heroes, and the heroes obviously think they're like demons or some shit because they come back and they have powers. Well, Supergirl has powers. And then Superman and Batman go to save Billy Batson because there's another like demon thing terrorizing Billy Batson in Philly. But they get trapped in hell because it was a trap. So they get sent to hell with the demon. That's where the devil Niza is down in hell. So Batman, Superman, Billy Batson are in hell, and Supergirl and Robin are on this back in time trying to figure out how to capture it in the first place. It's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun. Man, this is how you write Superman and Batman. It's awesome. Batman the Knight, Chip Zdarsky, Gian Domenico on the art. I think it was issue 4 or 5. I can't remember the issue number. I didn't write it down. Bruce, this is like where Bruce learns kung fu. He goes to a dojo similar to Batman Begins style. But the twist on this dojo, I like what Chip Zdarsky did. This isn't a dojo for good people. The leader of the dojo is in hiding because the kung fu or whatever he taught people was used in an assassination or something. So he had to go into hiding, and Bruce knows that, and he's like one of the best people. So while he's there, he notices like these like while he had to struggle to join the crew to get trained, there's some people that just get to show up and train, and he finds out that there's a benefactor sending assassins to get trained here to kind of leave this guy alone. Like if he's allowed to have these assassins train there, he won't out this guy for being in hiding, and he has to like train them. So Bruce makes a friend, and he decides to leave the dojo when the day they're teaching this like this death punch technique that'll kill your enemy. And he's like, I don't ever want to kill someone, so let's leave and go find the dude who's forcing you to train these assassins. So that's kind of where we leave off. Really solid issue, because like you don't want to spend more than one issue back in, the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows. So I'm glad we got out of there with one issue. Yeah. Night of the Ghoul number 6. This is the finale by Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. I think it was a solid ending. There's a twist at the end where you think the guy that the father saves was the director who it was being eaten by the people that worship the ghoul. Come to find out, they took the ghoul from the good people, which is like the House of the Scarab versus the House of the Flies or whatever. So he ends up being the ghoul. The end, they think they kill the ghoul, and the dad gets away in an ambulance. But the people driving the ambulance are the Cult of the Fly, and the dad most likely has the ghoul inside him now. And then the Order of the Scarab picks up the film that he was originally playing at the end, and that film reel shows that the ghoul went into the old man director, and that was like the big reveal. So now the Scarab people have that. Maybe we'll get another series where they go to get him back or something. I think it was a solid series. Scott Snyder can do horror. And then I had Hulk number 6, Johnny Cates, Ryan Otley. This is a wild issue. You're going to love this issue. Basically, yeah. Did you read it?
I did.
Okay. So you did read that one. Maybe you can explain to me. So Hulk goes Hulk, and he basically turns to Doomsday.
Yes.
Is what okay. So basically Banner gets the Hulk back from this Betty person. And other Banner, the one with the eye patch, kills Ross, shoots him, and there's a gamma bomb about to hit, and he tells Banner and Hulk to get out of there. He goes through a portal, something is flying at him through the portal, and it's Thor's hammer, but it looks different. It's like got cracks in it and stuff. Can you explain to me why it looks different?
So in Thor, he got rid of the hammer, and much like in the movies, and So the last Thor run was the God of Hammers, and the God of Hammers was Mjolnir, Thor's hammer.
Okay.
So he had to destroy the hammer to release Mjolnir from it, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And then I think it was Valkyrie came and fixed the hammer, but there's no longer any kind of magical because there was like the heart of a sun inside of the hammer or something like that, which is how it had like some sort of sentience. Well, now it doesn't have that anymore. So she took all the pieces and welded them back together, and that's the new hammer. So now Thor has his hammer again. So we've had like, I don't know, 10 issues of like trying to figure out what happened to Thor's hammer and then him fighting it and all this stuff. So that's why it looks that way.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Also a Donny Cates book, by the way.
yeah. So now we're getting crossovers again. Donnie's done this once before, with the Ghost Rider and the Thanos thing. This is what he's good at. So this book is phenomenal.
Yeah, I really liked, there's a moment where Banner like tricks Hulk into going back into the engine room.
Yeah.
And Hulk just looks back at him as Banner's betraying him, and he just goes, "Banner, I'm sorry." And I just sat there, I was sad. Like, give me the feels in a Hulk book, man.
Yeah, what are you doing with these feelings in a Hulk book? It's about smashing things. But no, that was a pretty sad moment.
And yeah, the whole like him turning into whatever that thing was, Titan Hulk, I think they're calling it. Yeah, there was a whole like thing before there where they're like, everybody gets a Hulk. This person has a Hulk. That person has a Hulk.
You get a Hulk.
Why can't Hulk have a Hulk?
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay.
Yeah. That was a little funny. That was just like him poking at fun.
It worked though.
Yeah, it did. And that was all I had this week. There's some other stuff I didn't get to read, like Shang-Chi and stuff like that. So
my Granite State Punk came in.
Nice.
So I got all the covers.
Ooh, those. Is that the metallic cover?
How shiny it is.
Wow. That's worth a lot of boku bucks.
Yeah, because it's shiny. That's what the 90s taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got this in this week, and I really liked it. Did you back it?
Yeah, I just got the digital issue, but I liked it. Yep.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of a very straightforward book, but it's just this guy. He's got this family history. He's kind of this like punk rock anarchist in New Hampshire, and he has this background where his parents are like witches and wizards, and they have a whole connection to Salem witch trial, and this woman tries to kill him, and he kills her instead. But the actual substance of the book, where Travis gets into a lot of the ideas and kind of working through issues of like substance abuse and all this other crap, like so well done. I feel like every time Travis puts out a book, he gets a little better, and I think that's a good thing.
Yep.
So I really liked it.
Good.
I read The Secret History of the War on Drugs, #1. Did you check this out?
No.
So it's Jerry Duggan and Brian, is it Posehn?
Okay.
The comedian who's always the weird guy in every sitcom.
Okay.
And it's a fake retelling of the War on Drugs, but it's done in the style of an action movie.
That's funny. So
this guy, he works for the government, and when you first meet him, like he's killing lizard people in South Africa.
Oh my god.
And then he's brought in by the government, and this takes place in the 80s, to start the war on drugs. So he has to go to California and like burn down weed fields. And so the people capture him, and instead of killing him, they just get him really fucking high.
That's hilarious. And
he ends up getting higher than anybody ever has, because they put this like gas mask that's attached to a bong. And he he meets Weed Thing. Which is a marijuana version of Swamp Thing.
That's amazing.
Who shows him like the true meaning of life and everything. And then a bunch of his other like mercenary friends like join up with the government to take him down, because he's now betrayed them, because he's going to live a life of like solitude with his marijuana friends. Wow. It's fucking weird and crazy. There's a few like moments in it where I felt like they just kind of had to jam in something in there. Like politics wise, but
right.
other things too, like agenda stuff from like, this should have been just straight fun, but that's like 2% of the book, and I could throw it away and ignore it because the book was fucking awesome and crazy.
Awesome.
And if that doesn't sell you, everybody, the opening of the book is them being like, happy 420, everybody, because Wednesday was 420.
Yeah, it came out on Wednesday, yeah.
I hope everybody's having fun and enjoying themselves and blah, blah, and I hope you really like this book. Unless you're celebrating Hitler's birthday, then fuck you. I don't want your money. And then moves on to the story, and I was like, that was good. That was a good joke.
That's funny.
And then Captain America #0 came out.
Oh, yeah, the Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig.
Yes, and I closed it, didn't I? But so I was looking up to see who the artist was because the art is amazing. Amazing. Almost.
Will it be on the inside cover of your book?
It's not. That was. I was trying to. I'm sure it is somewhere, but it's not like on that first page.
Sometimes like, they put it in the middle.
Dude.
Oh damn! Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Like it's almost Alex Ross level art.
Damn.
Like it's so goddamn good. But then the story is pretty interesting too. So it's the two Caps, Steve and Sam, and they're fighting Zola, who's built up his own company and decided to make a rocket. We're definitely not talking about anything here. And the rocket comes out of a skyscraper in New York City, and he's basically going to destroy the world and send everybody, like the people he wants, to space and turn them into like little mini Zolas. Wow. And then they fight him and they win. That's the basis of the story. What it really was for me was, hey everybody, we got two Captain Americas now. Here they are. This is what they're about, and it was just done really well and with a lot of love and care. And there's even a moment in the back of the book where the fight's over and they're kind of having a debate over what they're going to call each other. And Sam's like, I can't call it, awkward question. I can't be called Captain America, so what will I be? The Astonishing Captain America? And then Steve goes, no, what about the Uncanny Captain America? And Sam goes, well, no, that's you. He goes, wouldn't I be the Spectacular Captain America? So it was like picking at Marvel a little bit.
Yeah, that's funny.
If you're a Lapse Cap fan, pick this book up. It was just pure fun and joy, and I loved it so much. It's everything I want a Cap book to be.
Awesome. And I will say, shout out to Colin and Jackson, because I walked into that comic shop. I bought it digitally. I didn't buy a physical copy of Batman Beyond Neo Year, and it's sold out at their shop. So Batman Beyond book selling out is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Beyond fans show up, man. They show up.
Oh yeah.
So Mike, that's everything I had. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and you can find the show at FortressComics _ on Twitter, also at FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to give us the 5 stars on the podcatcher, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, check out both our affiliate links and Patreon at patreon.com/FortressComics. Thank you all so much for listening this week, and we'll see you all here next week.
See ya.